I'm Dr. Deb Butler, and you are listening to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is episode number 303. Welcome to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. If you're a woman and you're smart and you're successful and you've been struggling with weight your whole life, and now menopause is making it harder than ever, and you are ready to make this the last time you ever have to go on a diet again, then this podcast is for you. Stay tuned. Well, hello, all my dear friends all over the world. Where I am in the world, it's cold. I don't know about you, but I like it better when it's warm, except I have to tell you that when I actually go out and go for my big hikes and walks, and I think, oh my gosh, it's so cold, I really don't want to go. I have all that mind chatter. I bet you might have something like that too. It's too cold. You won't be able to do it. But through experience, I know my brain is only trying to protect me from the cold, cold weather. But I also know in the smartest part of my brain that I have the right clothes to wear and that I will not be too cold, which is always the case. You know what I have learned over the years about being outside in all temperatures? That number one, you have to manage your mind or you'll never get out. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too this, I'm too tired, all of that. The other thing is that you have to know in the end how you're going to feel. And usually, at least this is what I know for myself, I know I am going to feel so much better when I'm done. So I'm always going for the feeling that I'm going to have, not the feeling that I have when I start. Just a little FYI if you need some help getting out or moving your body or doing something that your brain is telling you it's too hard, it's too cold, it's too soft, it's too hard, whatever it is. In this instance, it was like, nope, I've got my clothes, I'm going to go. And boy, there's a lot to be said, actually, about brisk cold weather. I always feel so clear-headed when I'm done. Very, very different than when the weather is more warm. So in a way, when I'm finished, a lot of times what I'll say, I almost like it better. It's just an interesting thing about the mind. And if we really listen to it all the time, we might not get everything that we want in our lives, which is a lot of what I want to talk about today. The last podcast that I did was on the difference between resisting and allowing urges. And I had a lot of mail and feedback on these urges because for many, many people, the urges are what get in their way of being able to eat and do what they really want. And the definition of an urge basically is just a strong desire or an impulse. And there's nothing wrong with desires or impulses, is if you listen to it and you get more of what you want with an impulse or a desire. It helps you get closer to what you want, like you like the result that you're getting, then it's not a problem. The problem is when you have an urge, the strong desire or an impulse to do something or eat something that's going to give you a result of what you don't want. And what do you do with that? And I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. And I want to share with you one of my clients' stories that is working with me in a group. And I think it's a beautiful story to share because it really does explain urges and emotions and the differences and the difference between resisting and the difference between allowing. So I thought telling you a real story might really help you understand it a little bit better, especially when it comes to emotions. Because I have a lot of people that will say, well, I just don't know what I'm feeling. And that is because sometimes the only thing that you're feeling is a strong desire or an impulse to do something that you don't want to do because you don't like the result you're going to get if you do it. But sometimes it's not as much of that kind of an emotion. Sometimes it's actually a happy, mad, sad, glad emotion. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So many of you know that I have a group going on right now. I do group classes, my thinner peace process, a few times a year, and we are in the 10th week now. There'll be 12 weeks altogether. And we're in the middle of doing a mind body transformation chart, which really is a way of charting the physicality of our bodies, the emotions of our minds, and even spiritual ideas. We chart it as we're doing a no flour, no sugar experiment, which is one of the things that we do in the middle part of my program, or what I call reset. And I will also tell you right now that not everybody does or wants to do the no flour, no sugar experiment, but many people decide to do it once they realize they've never done it before, because most people think, oh, I've done that already. And I think what most people have done is they've tried to do the no flour, no sugar so that they would do it as a way for the rest of their lives. Like they're never going to eat flour and sugar again. And the point of what I do in my process is just use it as an experiment for a while and chart different things in our bodies to see what kind of changes occur so that we can use the most educated part of our mind to decide how we want to move going forward. And I don't think I ever really recommend that you don't ever do no flour, no sugar again in your life, even though I do have clients that do make that decision. But that's not really the point. But anyway, what happens usually with this experiment, and we're doing these mind body transformation charts, is these charts start showing a lot of improvement in a lot of different areas, from the physical part of the body, if there's painful areas, to the way the mind thinks. There's more positive thinking and less negative thinking, even though the only thing that's changed is what we're putting in our mouth. And so we chart it. So one of my clients in this group, what I would say is she was probably the first one to sign up. She sent me the most amount of letters before I even opened up the group, telling me how much she wanted to do it and how much she wanted to be on the wait list. And she was the first to sign up. And the reason I'm telling you this about her is because from the minute that she signed up and the minute that she was working with me, there wasn't anything in this group, because I give homework and my clients send me their homework even when we're working in a group. There wasn't anything that I didn't assign that she didn't do. And not everybody in the group does that. And not all my clients that I work with individually do that. But some people do. And she's one of them. And I will say that the results that she's had so far have been pretty amazing for her in terms of weight loss, in terms of mind processing and mind management, and all of the things that I teach in this thinner peace process. I would say that she has a handle on it now because she's really done the work. And the reason I'm talking about her is because in this last group call, she was the last person that I coached. And I brought her up because I noticed in her mind-body transformation chart and in her food journals, because people do still send me their food journals too, in case they need coaching on it, that all her numbers got worse over the last week. And her numbers have been really, really positive and good. She's had so many positive changes that it was surprising to see it. And so I wanted to ask her about it. When I pulled her on and we started talking, that's exactly what she wanted to talk about. I go, what happened? What was going on? Now, this is what she told me, and this is what I want you to understand about how emotions, how they are in the body, and how we allow them and how we resist them, and the negative effects of resisting them. So for her, she says to me, well, this is what was going on last week. Her youngest son, I think who is 22, is getting ready to leave home. And as she's talking to me about this, and she was telling me on the food journals that she had had a lot of fog eating in a couple days, which is very unusual for her. There's nothing unusual with fog eating. I see it a lot in food journals, but for her, she just doesn't have much of it. She really worked on it in the beginning of class and just hasn't had much of it. So it was unusual to see fog eating in her food journal and a lot of her mind body numbers getting worse instead of better. So when she was telling me about this incident, about this was the week that her son was leaving, and she said to me, and I'm really happy for him, and he's really happy. And I looked at her and I said, so why did you eat? And she had some things, they really weren't fuel foods. She wasn't hungry. And I just asked her, so why do you think you were eating this? And of course, the first thing she says, and she knows she shouldn't say this, and you all know that I don't know is not a very good answer, but sometimes our little brains, that's all it has to offer. So she started with, I don't know, maybe it has something to do with that. And then I said to her, I said, are you really happy? And as soon as I asked her that, she started crying. And here's the thing that I want to show you, is that it was a happy occasion that her son is leaving. He's very happy about it. Like I said to her, we certainly would rather not have our kids at 50 years old coming up to celebrate Christmas with us because they haven't left the house yet. So it is happy when they leave in that regard because we've done our job. But still, as soon as I said to her, maybe you're not happy, and she was crying, she just couldn't even talk. And this is the thing, is that she felt and she thought that she should be happy for him like he's happy for him. But she was resisting her own sadness because that's what was really going on for her, is that she was sad. And she was sad because she started saying things like, this is my baby, he's the youngest. These are the thoughts that are going on. And I don't really know that I would even want to help her change those thoughts to say, well, I think you should be happy when your baby is leaving. Because it is her baby and it is the youngest. And there is a change in the house when all the kids are gone because it's her last one. There were a lot of emotions going on, and she was trying to resist all of them and put on a happy face. And the way it showed up was fog eating in her food journals. And once she was fog eating in her food journals, it was affecting the way her body felt. It was affecting the way she was thinking. It affected everything. And she knew it when she came on for me to coach her because she took me right to that circumstance, what was going on. Once she calmed down, because what I did with her and what I do with my clients when there's that strong emotion going on that she didn't even realize was there and it showed up like that, is I just gave her a moment and I helped her process that sad emotion, let it go through the body, allow it to come in, not push it away. She had been resisting it. And the resistance makes you feel like something isn't right and you're looking for something to fill up this hole of something isn't right, something isn't right. I don't want to feel it. You're not saying to yourself, I don't want to feel sad. That's not what was going on for her. She didn't even realize she was feeling it because she thought she should be feeling something different. And that is not what her real experience was. So we processed the sadness emotion. She felt it in her body. I walked her through it. And as she started to calm down, she said very simply to me, is if I would have cried, I would not have eaten the food. If I would have just let myself feel what I'm feeling right now, I wouldn't have eaten. And that is really all my sweet, sweet people all over the world, all my friends, is what I want you to understand, that sometimes you just have to feel what you're feeling. And how do you know if you're not? It might, it will, it'll show up in putting food in your mouth when you're not hungry. She was totally aware that something was going on. She'd been working through this thinner peace process for a while. She just didn't know what it was. It's the beauty of coaching too. But if you think that all I'm doing when I'm working with my clients is helping them lose weight, you got another thing coming. Because you could say this is all about weight loss, or you could say it's got nothing to do with it. She put something in her mouth because she felt sad and she thought she should be happy, period. And she's been doing enough of this work. She has been so profound with all of her work. There isn't anything that she hasn't done. And so it was even more in her face. She knew something was going on. And it might be like that for you too. As time goes on and you start learning some of these things that I'm teaching, you're going to know when something shows up in those food journals. You're going to know what is going on with me that I'm not really willing to look at. And sometimes it's not easy. My client is very aware. She's learned a lot of tools, but in the end, she just didn't want to feel what she was feeling. And I don't care how far along you are in this process, myself included. Sometimes you just need help. You need somebody to help guide you to what is really going on. And the beauty of food journals is that it will always, as a coach, that's how I can find out for my clients what is really going on for them too. And this is just a perfect example of trying to not feel an emotion. That's resistance. You're pushing it away instead of feeling it. So she pushed the sadness away for a few days, and within 10 to 15 minutes of me coaching her, she allowed it to come through, and it was gone. And that doesn't mean she's not going to have more sad moments. Like, it's okay to feel that way. Maybe for her, I really don't think she wants to change the way she thinks. I would not even recommend she change it. Oh, I just want to be happy that he's leaving. No, in time, things will change. But being real and being truthful for yourself and feeling what you're feeling without eating it is what I call freedom and peace. And that is exactly why this client is doing the work. And you can too. So listen, if this sounds interesting and you want to learn more about how coaching can work for you, not only lose weight, but learn how to manage your mind that when you're putting food in your mouth and you're not hungry, to try to figure out what's really going on, that is what I specialize in. So if you'd like to find out more how I can help you like I am helping this beautiful client of mine right now, you can go to drdebbutler.com/work with me, and you can set up a time to talk to me, and we can find out if the thinner piece process that I use will help you too. And of course, before I end today, there's no way I would stop without saying this to you. No matter where else you go, and no matter what else you do, please, 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 all my beautiful friends all over the world, be very, very, very kind to yourself and allow yourself to feel what you feel. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye. If you've been following my podcast and you're loving all the tools that I teach you, but you're just not sure that you can do it or apply it by yourself, then please go to drdebbutler.com/work with me. And you can find out if the program that I do and the coaching that I do will help you get to where you want to be, to learn all the tools that I teach and be able to make it a part of your life. Just go to drdebbutler.com/work with me. You can set up a free 30-minute mini session.